Hello, hello, hello. All right, welcome back to the Journal Show. Let's focus in here. Hello, people. Change of scenery. We got a curtain here. And this lovely brick wall. Real brick. Quick story about this brick wall. Since we're going to call out exactly what's going on here. I bought this from Home Depot because my Jeep, which I recently sold, I say I sold it, but the insurance company claimed it because it was totaled. My top flew off while I was driving down the road, and this was my this was the top of my roof of my Jeep for like a day before the insurance company took it. So now it's going to act as the background for today because I don't know what else to do with it yet. And I figured I'd move away from the bed because my last episode that I shot, the camera didn't know how to focus on my face because I had my self-portrait of the clown, which I'm looking at now, and my Rhea portrait, which is my friend from New York, who I painted. It was focusing on their faces more than mine. So, you know, we live and we learn. What else? Smoothie life. I was going to drink a little bit of alcohol on this one, but sadly I have no cups because I live a poor man's existence. And then hopefully there's not a low, dull drone throughout this whole episode. There could be. It's quite possible because I have my heater. This is going to be my side table, but I have a space heater right here because it is cold as balls. Oh, yeah. I'm wearing a jacket. It's like 20-something degrees in Arkansas right now. And my little room here that I live in doesn't have heat or air. So I use a space heater and thick blankets whenever I'm sleeping. This is just how I choose to live, people. We're gonna get this popping by, and I'm trying new frames. Like I'm gonna do this episode a little further back from the screen. I feel like the last ones I've been like this close, which is nice. But I want to give it a little bit of range, you know. So I'm just word vomiting now. So let me light my candle so I can get some good smells in, and we'll get going. A little ASMR. ASMR of me burning my fucking hand. My mom bought me this candle. This is how I like to waste my camera battery. I was hoping to get some crackles, but I don't know if the mic's going to pick it up. Pick it up. All right. I did a few episodes ago where I forgot to turn my recorder on, my Zoom recorder on. I'm just doing all the wrong things, it seems. But we're going to keep moving on. Okay, here we are. I know the last video that I recorded, let's not burn this jacket. If I'm remembering correctly, there was a moment that changed my whole life when I was in Italy, and I think that I'm about to read the page. Or did I already read this one? I'm just going to reread it in case, because it's a good way to start it. I imagine great battles, heartbreaking losses, and the most beautiful architecture ever. People strolling about around the Colosseum, as they still are today. Beautiful art, music, and ideas formed. Love shared and lost. I can look back on the past and see such a bright future. So many possibilities, so many questions to be asked. So young and so much to learn and teach. I'm sure no one ever thought the world would amount to this. So modern and routine, lost in the night without dreams and without beauty. The people of the past surely look down with tears upon the world today, of what it could have been. At least they won't look upon me and cry. I wish to have known ancient Rome, but I can feel its presence in the air, in the smell, in the stars. I'm lucky to be looking up upon the same sky as the past great Renaissance men did, in the same place, with the same dreams. It's not hopeless. It's in the love. I need it. I will find it. I already have the love in my heart. I just need to share it with the world. That's my calling, to love. Man, it's so crazy how you have these epiphany moments in your life that alter the course of your life. You know? And that calling to love, I mean, it's what I've been searching. It's the reason for the podcast. It's why I search for connection, you know? It's integral to who I am. Just accepting, which is the hard part for me, accepting the love of other people unconditionally. That's the tricky part, unconditionally. Because I get love with conditions. I've had love without conditions, and I have fought it. I've had moments where I had someone who was loving me and in love with me, and I fought it and ran from it because it didn't make sense to me. Because I was like, what did I do to deserve this? I haven't done anything to deserve this. I guess maybe I had a skewed idea of what love was from childhood or from what I saw love to be when I was younger. I just misinterpreted what it took for love. I guess I thought it was really hard work, but maybe I was just hearing from people that it was really hard work. And so I didn't believe it when it was offered to me openly and freely, and it's still something I'm working on. But I will say I give love openly and freely, and I give my attention, and I give my time, and I give my heart to people as often as I can. And it started, that's the moment. 11, 12 years ago. And think about how much you change from 18 to 30. If you're not there yet, don't worry, you'll be there. Think about how much you change. And for that thing to affect me in a time where I'm developing and I still find it the most important thing to me, I mean, how can you go wrong if for 11 years your heart has been telling you something? And that's how I am where I'm at. And I feel like when you look at it from the outside and you don't understand me or you don't know me, you're like, what the fuck? Maybe you're on the wrong path. I know, even though it's a struggle, I'm on that right path. And not only am I on the right path, I'm living life so... I'm squeezing the juices out of life anywhere I can. I'm a fucking sponge for experience. And right now I'm experiencing this fucking candle. Shout out Tyler Perry candles. I say Tyler Perry because it's either Tyler candles or Perry candles. Shout out Tyler Perry. Shout out the goblins who are watching this. That's what your name is, the goblins. The glizzy goblins. Goblin is like something that is in my life now because I like to draw goblins and paint goblins, and I like sell goblins. So if you're watching this YouTube video and you subscribe to the channel, you're officially a little goblin. My little goblin babies. Okay. Onward. feel like I just recycle other big podcast phrases. I'm just that guy right now. We got to find our own voice, right? Here's a song or a poem because I drew music notes around it, and that's just how I do. Ancient Rome, so far from home, but so close to my wandering heart. Give me hope and teach me beauty. Learn me in the ways of art. Learn me in the ways of art. I see shine, the message clear. Just give me time, I still hold fear. Give me a home in ancient Rome so I may give the love. So, I remember last episode I was talking about murder, and this episode and my mood right now is just all about positivity. Will it continue? The page turn will know. I drew a strange key. Maybe that'll... Oh, yeah. Okay. So as you can see, I had one of the... I don't know that it conveys so much in the journal other than just the uplifting spirit of the pages while I'm writing. But this was one of those clouds going away and giving into like sunshine moments of the trip, which started off with me feeling like I'm just on a downward spiral. I struggled. I was looking for meaning. I was pissed off. And maybe I feel like I'm coming out of that on the other side. I really don't know because I don't ever read these journals. But I do know we're going to make it through. Holy shit. There's no way we're making it through. Why did I write so much? Maybe this... Oh, fuck. Okay. Stuff's going to get cut. All right. Once again, I'm stuck at the train station. To my left, 6 Turks, 3 boys, 3 girls. To my right, a nice guy from Morocco, who I believe to be a potential thief. In front of me, 2 very American girls from Washington. They remind me of what I wasn't missing. Damn, I'm judging them. The ignorance bubble America issues at birth. Tomorrow I'll go to Venice for probably a day, and then home to Holland. I am ready to hear my mom's voice again. Guys, I am a fucking mama's boy. I always have been. If you know my mom, you get why. She's just that chick. She's the one that pushes me to get the most out of life that I can. She very rarely has given me push back for my choices in life. There's moments where she's like, hey, get your shit together, which I need, of course. But for the most part, she was always like a guiding force for me to stay in the pocket and keep going. So my mom, I'm sunburnt. Today I took a nice long nap at the Vatican. My legs were in the sun the whole time. I'm in a very good mood after having my emotional and Roman epiphany. My emotional and Roman epiphany. Much needed. I pushed all my problems away subconsciously to a safety deposit box in my head and then forgot where I hid the key. There's the key. Metaphorically speaking, of course, because I needed to write that. I cried for stupid reasons, but it felt good to feel. After Devon, I didn't want to feel sad anymore, so my emotional antibodies took over and prevented me from getting strong feelings. Hopefully, my old self will come back so that realist Blake can get a rest. The key's under the mat. I guess maybe here I've decided, it sounds like I've decided that it's a choice, You can choose to push them away, or you can choose to deal with your shit. And I guess maybe this was the birthing of me saying, you know what? I'm going to try to choose to deal with this shit and grow. And that's maybe the first time I thought of that being a thing that I needed to do, This is a kid that just graduated high school. Oh, the world's so sick, without notice, in need of... ... Well, I was attempting for a poem, but turned around to find 3 sheep staring at me rudely. It doesn't bother me anymore. Oh, now 6. I'm used to the stares. I understand that I'm different. I'd wish to think special, but that's not how I'm viewed by the mass. Maybe one day in my life, The stares of disapproval will be turned into the gazes of awe from a simple guy that wishes to be a kid that accomplished so much from flexing one muscle fluently till it was ready to burst. Who knows? Maybe I can be a shepherd. I doubt there are any college courses for that. I don't know. Just going to keep rambling. So I guess I'll walk the edges of Venice. August 12th, 2011, morning. This one's interesting to me because it shows a few things in my psychology, I believe. Now, sheep. Obviously, we all know I'm referring to people who follow the rules, follow the leader. And I've always referred to the people who just, I don't know, you all know who sheep are. You can feel a sheep mentality. And the shepherd idea is the thing that is interesting to my psychology because what makes me different than a sheep? Like what? Sheep is a negative connotation on someone who is following the rules of the system that has been put in place. A system that at this moment I was like, we can fucking break it. Now, I get that I have a revolutionary spirit. And when I say revolutionary, I don't mean like, oh, I'm so fucking great. I'm just saying that the things that piss me off, I think piss off a lot of people, and some people choose to ignore those things because it's easier. Because what else are you going to do? You just got to play I believe it's funny we're talking about this now. I remember in high school, maybe when I was in Europe. Wow. How do I remember this? When I was in Europe, I was talking to the guy who I went to visit. And let me just give a backstory on him. His name's Sven Decker. I went and lived with his family. He was a foreign exchange student when I was in high school. He was living with a host family, and they were terrible. This family took advantage of them and were kind of abusive. And so he got into fights with them, and I didn't know him at all. But I had a friend named Ani who knew Sven, okay? Ani and I were friends. Sven knew Ani. And Ani knew that even in high school, he knew me as a person who might be able to take him in because my parents are really chill and I would be down for that, I don't know. Ani just knew that he knew me well enough to know that he should at least ask me hey, Sven is going to be kicked out of the place that he's living and have to go back to Holland, or he needs someone to take him in. Could you take him in? I asked my mom. She immediately said yes because my mom's that type of person. So just meeting Sven the first time, I was like, all right, man, come live with me. So he came and stayed with me for the rest of my senior year in high school. I'm an only child, so he was like a brother, I finally had someone to tell secrets to, and we could talk while we fell asleep, and he was from a different place, but I got to learn a bit about him and maybe a little bit about his culture, but he was more wanting to learn about American culture. So we got to talk about that. We rapped together. We dated girls who were friends, and it was a great fucking experience. I taught him how to drive. I don't know. Super cool. Dad boner shit. But he returned the favor. When I was in need to escape where I was at, he offered me an abode on earth to just get some bearings, and I used his house as a launching point to go backpack this trip that I'm talking about in these journals. Now, that big backstory is to say he's the first person I remember it clicking to me. He said, this shit's all a game, and he said he's going to play the game and play the game well. And I get it. I've also looked at his, I knew him very well. We don't talk anymore. A lot of that's probably me because I have pushed people away for a long time in my life and not kept connections. Like I said, I only have my mom and my grandma. I have other family that is alive, but I don't have any other family. You know what I mean? I push people away, and Sven's doing really well. I'm really excited. He's an artist. He's a revolutionary thinker. He does some cool shit. I miss him. That's a regret I have, is letting that friendship fizzle, But I guess I've always had this hope that I'm special and not crazy. I was talking about it in jiu-jitsu tonight, just about I have this stupid, yet to me it makes sense, fear. Oh, my friend Brandon Shermo hates this thing, but I have this real fear that maybe I have a mental disability. You know, maybe I'm not autistic, but maybe I have either a mental illness or maybe like I'm challenged mentally in some way, to where I feel like I'm actually living. Maybe I think that I have friends and family, but actually I have like some mental disability, and I'm really just sitting in a nursing home or like a hospital. And like people who I think are my friends, maybe they're just my caretakers. I have this, you never know. If I was there, the black belt at my jiu-jitsu gym, Daniel, said tonight, he was like, he has this thought of like, what if he'll go like to unlock a door, and like sometimes he'll think, what if I have dementia right now and this is just a memory of me when I was like 30 years old, and I think that I'm opening the door, but actually I'm, So I have this fear that maybe I'm crazy and not, like, because in my head, if I'm being honest, I feel like I'm on the right path, and there's a lot of people who aren't. I feel like I listen to my heart, and there's a lot of people who aren't. I'm taking risks, there's people who aren't. But then that fear is always like, is this how people start out before they're crazy and on the side of the street? That is a legitimate fear I have. Only time will tell. I'm not going to worry about it now. And also, I don't think that to be true, but it's a fear that I have. That, or like maybe I'm just a brain in a warehouse with a whole, like in a vat with a whole assembly line of other brains, and we're all just sharing this experience. I'm not going to get into that. That shit starts blowing my mind. That and like monetization of like goods and services, all that shit pisses me off, scares me, and I want it. So that's where we are at with my world that I have created, my perception of this thing that we're doing. I'm bad at timing this shit out. Leave it in! My butt hurts from sitting on marble stairs August 12th, 4 o'clock. It's all a little fuzzy, but I feel like I had the best dream of my life. It felt so real that when I woke up, I thought I might have fallen asleep at the wheel of a moving vehicle. I dreamed about her and all of her wonder. I dreamed about her beauty, her passion, her essence. She was still perfect, just like I remember her. It's been 10 months since she left me. I feel the pain more now than the day of it. Why am I so fixated on the love I had with her if she is with another? This euphoric meeting was so subtle, so unexpected at a train station, I think. She was wearing the tan dress that she wore at my high school graduation. She looked like an angel. She was glowing. Her cheeks were flushed red. I tell her that I loved her. I still loved her. I never stopped loving her. I told her that my thoughts weren't completed if there wasn't one reference to her finesseful flawlessness referenced in the mix somewhere. I told her the truth in a hopeful plunge for maybe a glimpse. And it continues. And I am in Neverland. The hug so real. Her warm body so familiar against mine. Next is a blur, but I remember us chattering away like two scientists that just discovered the cure for cancer and were deciding who was going to do what when they finally went public. She's my cure. She's the cure for cancer. Her hair in the wind with all of its Bruin fullness. I am speeding. She likes it. As I pull onto the side of the desert road, the sky is of soft pinks and violet blues. The desert rocks jut violently into the sky, hoping for a touch of the beauty. I can't look at that. I can only see green. Her eyes were green in my dream, the same color as the day that I told her I loved her in the kitchen of her small grandmother-afflicted house. I did love her. After but a week, I knew it was true. Wham! Back on the train. People surround me. Paranoia sets in again. They're staring at me. Was I talking in my sleep? If so, what kind of ludicrous things must I have been saying? Oh, well, they probably don't speak English anyway. All of these emotions and no one to share them with on this strange continent. Europe is where I want to find meaning. It's where I went to run from my problems. Instead, it's where I found her again, locked away in my head, ready to be unleashed and cause me more pain. I miss Devon. So there is a love letter to my first love. Just to talk about this, because if I leave this all in, my first love was, I talked about it there. That's a dream, but it's all true. You know, the things in high school, she surprised me by complimenting my jeans every day. She knew who I was before I knew her. She was a year younger than me. She was very outgoing. Super cute. Now, I fell in love with her in her grandmother's kitchen. And I fell out of love with her in her car. How many years later? I was heartbroken for so long. I've already described in this video how I just figured out my emotions could be acted on or processed. So all of that hurt that I was pushing away before I went to Europe, I now had to deal with. And I kept this idea of her for so long in my head that once I was better, I would deserve her and we would live forever. That is how I saw her. I kept her on a pedestal for years. It kept me from dating and loving other people. I had girls who I would sleep with and talk about her to them. You know, like it was me afraid to deal with her. And I remember this stuff vividly. I was with Brandon, my friend Brandon. I say Shermo for context for people who know him as Shermo. Doesn't matter. I'm going to restart this. I was with Brandon. I had gone to Europe. I'd gone to Australia. So I'm now back, and I think I was modeling at the time. And I had gotten a scholarship to go to New York for acting school. So I'm living my best life. Still unavailable to anyone, not thinking about her all the time, but feeling like in the back of my head, like we would have a chance. Didn't see her. I was back in my hometown. I was living there again, saving up money before I went to New York. I'm probably like 5 or 6 months away from moving to New York, and we're eating at a Mexican restaurant, and she walked by, and my heart stopped. It was like seeing a ghost, and all those emotions were like, oh, that's the person who I've been waiting for. And we connected instantly. There's this thing that I feel like happens with me when I know that I'm really into someone and caring about them and like infatuated and loving them. You ever had those moments where the room disappears? The world disappeared. And I think we looked at each other. She was there for 5 minutes. She walked in, said hi, and left, right? She came by because they were running errands. We were eating. She came in, and we looked at each other for 5 minutes, had conversations, but we're looking at each other, reconnecting and telling each other that we still loved each other without saying anything, you know? And I don't know if it was this fast, but it felt this fast. It went from she walked by while we're having tacos to let's go get drinks to let's date again to you should just move in. And we lived together. Like, I think we moved her stuff into my apartment like that night. And that was years later from this breakup. So I'm 23. That was 18. 5 years of 5 years. Imagine how long 5 years is of her being the only person I would, like, in my head be like, oh, I'd date her. I won't date anyone else. I'll date her. All the connections that I cut off. Like, oh, it's just such a fucking sad. I feel sad for myself for doing that to myself. And I fell out of love with her 5 years later when we're driving down the road, and I realized that the person I put on a pedestal was just that, was the girl from this dream. And this dream it fucked me up. I said it was maybe the best dream of my life. That dream made me want this perfection that I told myself that I missed out on, that didn't actually exist. And when I rekindled with this person who lived with me now, I fell out of love with her. It took me dating her again to fall out of love with her and realize that she was not the one for me. And I don't know, did I need to go through that? It doesn't matter now because it happened, but I like to think back and think that I made myself do that so that I could grow from there, because since then I didn't have that weight of the perfect person I've already missed out on, you know? That it's not a way to live. And since then, I have had dreams of the perfect girl. And I see her in my dreams. And I know it. But at this moment, I haven't had this dream yet either. And that's going to be in other journals. Just in case I stop it here, I'm just going to stop it and do the exit, because I know that this is long. I can't get through this journal. Thank you so much for watching. It's really fun to have this outlet to make these videos and have you guys watch it. If you have any questions or any comments, comment down below and let me know what you're thinking. If you haven't checked out the Patreon, go over there. It's less than a cup of coffee. I'm telling you. You won't miss it. Also, let me just...